Metal Faithful. What's up? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving from me, Metal Cooper. Metal Cooper, Robert Cooper, everybody's Rattlers Broadcasting Network. Figure, might as well just start out saying that because, Thanksgiving's it's a really nice holiday when you look at it in the very rosy glasses. Now, if you look at it in other glasses, it gets negative and cynical and trampling because of tomorrow's Black Friday. But, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody enjoyed their day of turkey and football and sitting with a bunch of family that they really do not like. Because, that's tradition. But, welcome to the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. As stated before, I am your host, typically co-host, but I'm hosting tonight because the mandated reporter, Mr. Mark Ratlich, is doing family stuff, and his wife would probably kill him with a rake. So, I'm here hosting tonight. It's going to be pretty great, pretty fun. And I have a co-host, that's right, former Ratlich and Broadcasting superfan, now turned Ratlich and Broadcasting superfan / what content producer, Mr. Jesse Starcher. How you doing, buddy?
I'm putting that title on my resume. That's what's going to happen. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there in podcast land.
Oh, yeah. In the land of podcasts and Cowboys over.
Yes, indeed.
That makes my day. That makes my life.
I picked them, too. And that hurts. I think Teasley picked them along with me, so I don't think it was a bad loss.
Oh, well, hope nobody picked Carolina, because that's a bad idea. It's when I was at work the other day, when the guy was like, hey, the Panthers can't lose this week. I'm like, oh, you're funny. It's the bye week last week. Yeah, it's because it's the bye week.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, you clever bastard. I made that joke earlier, and my mom was like, she was not impressed. Not my fault. I didn't do it.
That's all right.
Not my fault the team sucks. I just work here.
That's right.
That's right, even though they don't pay me. Unlike my other job, where they do pay me. And then my school job, which is me going to school, where they technically pay me through education. Bullshit concept.
Oh, lovely.
Right. Almost the end of the semester. Oh, well. Anyways, metal. So, as stated, Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. This week, we're doing Jesse's request. Jesse has been begging us to do this band for a while. And damn it, Mark was like, well, it's going to be you and Jesse. So I was like, Jesse, go. You can choose whatever you want. I'll give you a Thanksgiving present. Rather than the other Thanksgiving present, which is turkey and sleep.
I had plenty of that.
Yeah, so tonight we're talking about the newest Scar Symmetry album, The Singularity, Phase 1, Neohumanity.
Oh, some good stuff, man. I'm so excited to talk this album. One of my favorite bands of all time. And I've only known these guys for about 3 years, I'd say. But I've went back and listened to the catalog of their albums after I first started listening to them. And I was impressed. There's few albums that you can turn it on, and then immediately the first song that's playing. And that's what I got out of it. I started playing one of their first albums, and I was like, dang, this is some good stuff. And then proceeded from there on. I listened to more stuff. There's very few songs that I dislike from these guys. And I thought, it's Thanksgiving. I want to give to the people of Ratlich and Broadcasting Network, and those that listen to us, the Metal Hammer of Doom. This is my present to you. And I hope you guys enjoy it.
No, hey, I enjoyed the present. Yeah, because, I'll be honest, I don't think I own No, I don't know any other albums, nor do I think I've listened to it. I think I might have turned down the chance of buying a few of them. It's because I was like, well, another band, whatever. Because metal gets kind of overpopulated with bands, and a lot of them just do the same thing. Which, I mean, hey, that's great. But, I just never gave them a chance. So, when you're like, let's do Scar Symmetry, I'm like, all right, what's the worst that can happen? And, hey, it won't be Bro Down or anything.
Oh, no kidding.
God, that Throwdown album was bad.
Something showed up on my Spotify there a couple days ago, stating that they had a new single. I haven't had a chance to listen to it. It's like Americana or something like that. So I'm curious as to whether it's they're anything like that last album.
Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of they have songs about being straight edge. Whoa.
Straight edge, bro.
Yeah. Straight edge, bro. Yeah. Speaking of straight edge, I need to go listen to that Art of Wrestling podcast with CM Punk.
Oh, no kidding, dude. I saw that show up on my feed today on Facebook. Everybody's talking about it. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
I haven't either. It's a good podcast. I've listened to a few episodes. Yeah, CM Punk apparently got fired on his wedding day.
That's shitty.
Yeah, it is. But I want to listen to it, even though my fandom of CM Punk has kind of went from like where I thought he was the greatest thing ever in the world to be like, yeah, I like him, but he's a dick.
Oh, I was a huge fan. I wouldn't say I'm still a big CM Punk mark, but because of all the stuff that's kind of went down. But when he first showed up, one of the few wrestlers that I went through liking him as a face and heel, and no matter what. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, as a face and a heel, it's like he had a similar personality with both, but it worked. Mm-hmm. It was great. Yeah, I mean, it was just a really. He was just a great wrestler, and I loved his gimmicks. He always had good matches. But like as it started, I think once he lost the title, they were like, "Oh, well, don't know what to do with you." And yeah, like just personally, like reading things he says, and like he has always been a smug, self-absorbed bastard. But I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of tired of it. Whatever.
Yeah, but, and that's kind of what turned me off of him here lately. It's because of the whole. You hear some stories, man, and it's just like. You really, if you were a fan of him, it's kind of hard to stay that way because he sounds like his dick.
Yeah, and like plus, like WWE was kind of not that great with him, and it's still like kind of without him. Even though Sting came back and. Probably not going to hear from him for a while. That's fine. It's going to be like that one time in TNA where Bobby Lashley showed up, pointed on the entrance ramp, and didn't show up for 3 months. Pretty great. Yeah, but, I mean, hey, I discovered New Japan, so I'm good. I got New Japan and NXT to watch. I'm set for life. Oh, and Lucha Underground.
Awesome.
I'm good. Awesome. Yeah, like that's enough wrestling and manga and anime and too. And video games. I'm good. Anyways, metal. That thing that we love so much. So I know you talked about like you love Scar Symmetry. This album. This is a very, very interesting album. Like, are all their albums like this, where they use like fucking like 30-point Scrabble words?
Dude, just let's go. Let's hop on the Scar Symmetry wiki page here. I want to read you some track titles. And this is at first what caught my eye with this band. Let me see here. I want to just read you some here off of Holographic Universe. Touted as one of their best albums. We got Time Wave Zero. That's track number 2. Quantum Leaper, track number 3. Yeah, all right there, I'm a fan. We have the Three-Dimensional Shadow. Ghost Prototype 1, Measurement of Thought. I mean, these titles, and all these albums are just they're out there. And they do a great job of they do a great job of making you interested in the song and trying to decipher it. Now a lot of times with most metal faithful out there, they're obviously into the sound. Me, I'm a lyrics guy. So as soon as I hear some great sound and then I hear some great lyrics, and I've got to try and sometimes it's like a puzzle for me to try and figure out what the hell are these guys talking about. I'm hooked. And not to mention they make it sound good. But yeah, most of their albums are very similar. I guess I should say in this particular case, with this new album, they've definitely gone to the progressive side of things. That's one of the things that I've seen is that a lot of people are saying is that it's going more towards a progressive metal. But it's not too far from what they've had before.
Because, hey, I can definitely see some prog metal and some power metal themes in this album. Mm-hmm. Really, that's what really throws me off. Not that that's a bad thing. So we'll go through these. There's a lot of kind of a typical melodic death metal sound to it, and I feel like that's honestly one of the more weak points of the band. But when they throw in all these power and progressive elements in there, it's when it really gets interesting, and you're forced to look at it and go, "Whoa, okay, this is cool." And yeah, their lyrical theme, it seems like they have a lot of high concept sci-fi, which is, hey, fucking love that stuff.
Hell yeah. I watched a little bit of something on YouTube, and they were nice enough to put out a background sort of a video talking about this album, along with a track by track breakdown of what they're kind of attacking here. Now, obviously, with this particular album, what they have said is this. Obviously, this is phase 1. That's in the title. What this is going to be a trilogy of albums. And they're going to be right now they're attacking the point, or I guess just to say they're discussing the point of Neohumanism. And according to Per Nilsson, which is the guy that did most of the writing of the lyrics and stuff here, what they're doing is they're talking about how humans are becoming modified. And these modified humans are being modified by technology. So I guess his impetus for the idea for this album was he was at an airport and he heard some guys talking about this book by a guy by the name of Ray Kurzweil, which I'm not too familiar with, but I think in some circles I've heard of his name mentioned. But there's a book that he wrote called The Singularity is Near. Now, have you ever heard of the term singularity?
I recall it. I mean, I've heard it, just not really thought much about it.
Okay.
Isn't that a space that's just one, it's kind of stuck in, right?
Singularity is actually a term. Remember how me and you were talking about Terminator on Messenger?
Yeah.
The singularity is the point in time in which artificial intelligence becomes self-aware. To where that is called the singularity, and now machines are aware of themselves, and of course the big fear is that they're going to just wipe out humans. So when the singularity happens, supposedly there is a short time frame that humans are going to continue to live. So that's kind of where they got the idea from it, and then he sat down and kind of discussed with one of the other band members as to, okay, hey, look, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to do an album, and this is kind of what it's based on. Well, I think it's the bassist, the guy by the name of Henrik, says, you know what, let's do one better. We'll go ahead and we'll do 3 albums. And here's the synopsis. And we're going to tell this story about how technology overtakes humans. And what we're looking at right here is the first story of this trilogy. And that's one of the things he talked about was the art on the album, and it's a representation of Da Vinci's. I wish I could remember what he called it. A Vesuvian Man. I don't know if that's a term or anything you're familiar with, but it's the picture of the guy with the arms out and a diagram. But supposedly this is a diagram of the Neohumanity. So that's kind of where they're taking it. That's kind of a little bit of the background of where the album came from and how it got started.
Yeah, I know the Vitruvian Man.
Thank you. Did I pronounce it right?
I thought you said like Vitruvian Man or something.
Well, I'll roll with that. Vitruvian.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. You know.
Thank goodness for the internet.
That's right, because I was sitting there, I'm like, huh?
yeah. That's there you go.
But yeah, that's really interesting. Apparently, looking at Wikipedia earlier, the guy who runs this band, Per Nielsen, is a member of Mensa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a member of Mensa.
It does show. I mean, the dude, when we get into talking about some of the lyrics, I mean, there's shit. There's one word that came out on their first single, which is a word by the name of Lemniscate, and we're gonna have to look that up when we hit the track. But anyway, he put some stuff in there that just makes you go, hey, it all makes sense somehow. Now I need to figure out what sense it makes to me.
Right. Yeah. Like I think if I were smarter, this would make sense. So yeah. I got you. All right, so let's go ahead and start with actually an interesting little intro here. This is track 1 off the album. Let me find what I'm looking for. This is called The Shape of Things to Come. Shit, sorry.
If you want to, man, you can go right into the next track. If you want to go into the next track, really, we just played that whole 25 seconds. The whole thing there was just them posing the question. And if you want to go ahead and go to the next track, you're more than welcome to.
Oh yeah, because they kind of just they merge into each other. So we'll just talk about the two as a whole. So all right. Here is track 2, Neohuman. Okay, so there's tracks 1 and 2. What do you think about them, Jesse?
Oh man, it's setting them up. What it's showing you here, obviously the first track, it's 4 verses, and they're posing the question of as to in regards to what they call the neo-human age, where humans are now using they're using technology to enhance themselves, to run faster and jump higher, and what they're saying is that, when that time comes, is humanity going to have a choice in order to not become a machine? I mean, a lot of this album, I'm just going to put it plainly, I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm very familiar with who the Borg are. And this particular album, when I first heard it, I'm thinking of the freaking Borg. But anyway, they're stating that, by adding this technology, you're going to be able to live longer, do more things, and do so much more. But when that time comes, are you going to have a choice in order to avoid it? And, it may be pushed upon you. Right now, there's obviously debate upon. We're in an age where technology is just advancing at an unbelievable rate, and at some point, they're going to start making things that, I just think of like game systems right now. What do you think the next game system is going to be like in 10 years, man? I mean, it's going to be insane. But
I don't know. I wasn't sure if that was a rhetorical question or not. But.
No, definitely. What would you think? What would you think it would be? I mean, I'm just looking at game systems. I'm not talking about medically enhanced super beings with technology hooked to them. I'm just talking about gaming systems. You look at. I shudder to think of what it's going to be like. When my kid is 10 years old and wanting to play a video game. And I'm worried I'm going to be like my parents and have no freaking clue what the heck it is they're playing.
Dude, that's how I am with, like, smartphones. I don't have a smartphone. Anytime I pick up one, I'm staring at it like, what do I do? Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like, I'm just incredibly confused and discombobulated and everything. But I don't quite know where video games would be going, because really over the past 10 years, the only thing we've really added is motion control. Well, I mean, we've upgraded the graphics, of course, and playing over the internet has been, jumped leaps and bounds. But I almost feel like in
the
terms
social
of video
aspect
games,
is huge.
Yeah, well, in terms of out of home playing, yeah, I almost feel like in home multiplayer's kind of died, and it makes me really sad. But I almost feel like with video games are a lot like how science and shit went. Like, if you look at it, we started out with the Atari, that's pretty much like walking, and then we went to the NES, which is like learning how to fly, and now we hit like the Xbox and shit, and that's pretty much like what I equate to space flight, but we've not really done much more than get better at space flight.
It's true.
Like, I don't know how much more we have to go. Like, yeah, we can add virtual reality maybe, and motion control is a thing, but how is it really going to stick around? We'll just have to see. But
that's fair. All right. How about this? How about phones? All right.
Oh God.
Yeah, you mentioned you pick up a smartphone and you're like, holy, oh shit. We have gone from. Remember when you lost your remote and then a year later the iPhone was born?
Yeah.
That was we're talking 7 years ago, and it's going to be insane in about another 7 years what we're going to be doing. Are we going to have some kind of Google Glass that we're wearing all the time, or I could be an extreme, but I mean, we've gone from a lot of processing power and all that from 7 years ago up to where, right now, I have an iPhone 4, and it's like I can do everything on there. But back to the album. They're obviously setting forth. They're setting forth the fact that one of these times somebody's going to come up with some great invention, and it might proceed to change humanity so much that they're either going to not going to force it upon you, but it could be something that everyone covets so much, but only the rich can hold. Track 2, Neohuman. All right. The purpose of this song is talking about. I mean, I think the first lyric is a modified Neohuman. Well, I'm going to have to bring up dark lyrics here, by the way, to make sure I'm reading things right. But
that's where I am.
Yeah. I think like the first lyric is an elevated Neohuman saw the world. So he's waking up in this lab, and he's been modified. What they have said is that when I was reading the commentary in regards to these tracks, the song alternates between the creators of the Neohuman and the Neohuman themselves. And there's mention that this is a gateway to immortality. So, if you got your little nano machines in your body repairing cells every day or every hour or whatever, there's potential you could never die. Imagine how many people would love to have something like that. But that's my takeaway from the tracks. Now, musically, it grabbed me. This is, I can't remember. I think this is one of my top 3 tracks on this album. It's fast. What is the length on this one? Crap, I don't know. I'm going to have to go to Spotify, but I can't remember if this is one of the 10-minute ones.
Maybe it's here. I think it's one of the longer ones. It's like 8 minutes. The first one is.
Okay. All right. So I mean, I like it. And one thing that they do, and you may have noticed this when you listen to it, their songs kind of transform as they go. It's almost like they're kind of mashing 2 songs together, which might be an excuse as to why we got an 8-minute song, where they're just like, we're going to kind of blend this stuff together. It'll morph into something else, and then kind of finish up with what you started with. But yeah, this one's a good one. Starts out fast and gets you going. What do you think, man?
Well, I like it. It's like looking at the lyrics for it. They're so dense with it's so rich with information. Like Jesus.
Let's figure out, because I made a note of this. We got to figure out what the hell a noosphere is. Now, I'm going to look that up unless you know what the hell that is already off the top of your head.
A noosphere?
A noosphere. Noosphere.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. I don't know what the hell that is. So let's educate our viewers. As we said, this is going to be...
shattering the noosphere in descent. Whoa, okay, that's crazy.
This is going to be a vocabulary lesson. Vocabulary. All right, here we go. The noosphere is the sphere of human thought, according to Wikipedia.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh. I'm impressed.
I'm going to use that tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I'm going to use it on my 4-year-old.
I'm going to use it on the shopping public that have maturity and intelligence of 4-year-old. I'll just be like, it's like I'm shattering the barriers of your noosphere, and they're going to be like, what?
What? Where's the fucking hammers? That's all I want to know.
You want to know where the fucking hammers is? Aisle 59.
You know that shit right off the top of your head.
Yeah, it's over at Tool World on the left part of the back wall. Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning these things.
Did you say?
Hey, I'm getting there.
59?
59.
There's no freaking way that place has that many aisles.
They call it aisle 59, and I guess.
You need to explain to them basic counting is 1, 2, 3. Stave it off 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we got a lot of aisles, especially when you consider it's like a lot of some of them, like, you know, you break off into the store, so it's like 1, 2, and then you got the front row and back row, and then you got the section over the other area.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Oh yeah, welcome to the hardware store. Welcome to Lowe's Home Improvement, where I help illegal Mexicans off the border.
Odele!
At least if you ask Mark Radlich. I'm like, hey now, I do not help Mexicans across the border. They help me.
They help. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, I wish I listened to this album like more than once. Wow, it's
buddy,
very rich with information.
This is one of the things, you know, like I said, I wanted to share, and I hope you obviously I hope you get the chance to listen to it again, or you have the you have the opportunity to listen to it again, because this album, being a first-time listener, again, this is a concept album, so it's a little bit different from what they put in prior to this. But, boy, they got a lot of good stuff on here. And the fact that it's going to be a trilogy, and I'm going to save these comments for the end. So if I'll go ahead and stop myself right now. I'm already closing up. We ain't even got to track 3.
No, it happens. I mean, hey, it was only 2 tracks in, and we're 30 minutes into an hour show.
That's all right. We'll get her done.
Really. Well, a 2-hour show. But, yeah, I mean, just looking at the lyrics, like we're talking about theories of, you know, the flow of time and the sun and the moon and theories of death. It's funny. We're in very physical, and yet we're in very metaphysical ideas. Mm-hmm. Like we have stuff that's very scientifically based, but you also look at the other side of the coin, and there also are subjects that are very abstract in concept.
Yeah.
Somewhere we need to send this to the Trekkies. Now, the Trekkers, the Trekkies, you know, those people that like the people who like can tell you the names of the red shirts that died in every episode of every series of Star Trek. And the ones that the ones that were anime fans in the 80s.
You have had a chance to watch Galaxy Quest, have you not?
I've seen bits and I tried to. I didn't like it as much as a kid, but I've seen bits and pieces of it now. It's a funny show. Oh
man, you say red shirt, and I immediately think of Guy. There's a guy in there by the name of Guy who was pretty much a red shirt on their show back in the 80s whenever they had it. But anyway, it's funny because he joins them on this, on this space quest, and he immediately realizes that he's the red shirt, and he should have never went on the first away mission that they do on when they're actually up in space, because he's afraid of getting killed. But good stuff.
Yeah, that's such a funny. I need to watch that movie now. So I'm like,
it is on Netflix. If you can grab it. Oh yeah, it's funny, dude. Oh. I loved it. It was definitely good. I think me and Winfrey were talking about it there a while back. But please do yourself a favor if you ever get time, man. I know you're a busy man.
And I don't have Netflix.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, I'm like the one person on this earth that has no Netflix. I mean, I'm borrowing everything else. Like a buddy of mine got the WWE network, so I'm using that.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
I watch anime with that. It's good.
They have a Crunchyroll channel on the Roku that I got. So if I jumped on there, what should I watch?
Oh, dude, there's so much. Dude, they got so many good things. Like I've been watching some that stuff from the 70s, Space Pirate Captain Karloff. So if you like old ass animation, there you go. There's another thing. Let me go. I got to look it up just so I can pronounce it right. But it's like a anime retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's really weird because the textures in the show, they have a very I think it's called Gankatsuto.
And how old is it?
It's only It's not too old. Yeah, it's called Gankatsuto, the Count of Monte Cristo. It's weird because like all the textures in the show are like plaid in nature, but it's beautiful. That's the thing about it. Cause, yeah, I'll just
awesome.
hell, I'll just send you the Wikipedia.
Send me the stuff, man. Yeah, I'll you know, I've never had a chance to utilize that channel. Do you have to have a subscription?
I think if you want it to work faster, I'm not quite sure. I think if you want to watch it ad-free, I don't know how it works with ads though, because I've never gotten the chance to really use it much. But yeah, okay. It's like a library, an endless library of anime. It's awesome.
Nice.
Like I'm like, whoa, okay, I can throw this in there. I could have this, and I could have this, and I can watch this, and I can watch this. And I'm like, oh, but I have this game, I have this game, I have this game. I haven't caught up on this weekly show. Like, yeah, it's and I'm like, oh, I have this too. Oops.
Not enough time. I hear you, man. You just got to pick one thing and roll with it. Pick your most favorite thing and just roll with it. I hear you.
Yeah, that's
there it is.
What you got to do, pretty much. There it be. So yeah, let's go ahead and get along with this podcast, so I can go do some of those things and then try to get to bed sometime within the next 4 hours, because I got to be up at like 6:30. Because it's funny, in my house, my mom nags me about getting up on time. I'm like, it doesn't take long. She's like, well, what about traffic? I'm like, and?
Again, it doesn't take long.
It takes me 15 minutes to get to work. I leave 30 minutes early. And I get yelled at if I don't leave like 30 minutes early. I don't know. First world problem. Anyway, so speaking of songs with lots of metaphysical themes, here is track number 3, Limits to Infinity. I like that. That's cool. Not the song, like the thing that you did with the song, the fade in and fade out.
With the fade out, it does work.
Yeah.
It does work pretty good. That'll at least you don't have to sit there and stop it in the middle. That's one of the things that drove me insane. I'd be sitting there, I'd be listening to your guys' show, headbanging, and all of a sudden, and it stops. I'm like, well, we'll fade out, see if that eases everybody. So hopefully nobody's in the middle of like headbanging and they don't realize the end's coming.
Yeah, I don't know. What'll work? Typically, like for this show, even though I should have paid more attention to that class, it's a shitty class. I'm gonna tank that teacher on the course evaluation.
Oh,
you don't have one of the final things of your project of your like portfolio for the class being write a 2-page paper for 2 programs we used in this class talking about who created it and this, that, and the other thing. Like, we never fucking talked about that, you jackass.
Yeah, tank that dude. Give him a hell of a shitty eval.
We spent 3 hours. It's a 3-hour class once a week. We spent a whole class period learning how to do PowerPoint. We spent a whole class period learning how to do Microsoft Excel. Yeah, like Microsoft Word. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's horrible. But yeah, so Thursdays, just random quick tangent. What do I spend my Thursdays doing? I'll get up at about 10 o'clock, get ready, go to class, get there at 11, go and find the newest chapter of Bleach, because Thursdays are when the newest chapters of the Shonen Jump mangas are out, so go and read the scanlation of Bleach. Yeah. I've read all 600-something chapters to get caught up. Go me.
Damn.
Including 100 chapters in a day. Oh,
nice.
So good. Yeah, I'm going to pull that with Naruto soon, so I can finally just be done with that and then move on to One Piece. So I keep finding all these really, really good manga, like Vagabond and Monster, did you check out Monster, by the way?
I don't think I have. You sent me something on that, didn't you?
Yeah. I was pretty much just gushing all about it.
I have not had a chance. No, that's I remember what you was telling me about. That was the one thing we were, what we needed to go to the library and find out if they got, right?
Yeah. I need to finish the volume that I bought, but I got so sidetracked because I went to the library and I got that, and I got Berserk, which Berserk is amazing. It's like a kind of it's almost like it's a dark fantasy sort of setting. So yeah, like that's another. Well, I'm not gonna try and turn you on to. Yeah, I'll probably try to turn you on to the anime before I turn you on to the manga, because the manga is like 350 chapters. It's been going since '89 and it's still going.
What's a chapter? Is like a chapter an issue, or how does that work?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, that's a chapter is an issue. Things like that.
I got you.
So, putting that in perspective, I read 100 issues of a comic book in a day. Fuck. So I found like Vagabond, Monster, Vinland Saga, a lot of really more like mature and historically based stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird. I've come to realize I really like shonen action, like Yu Yu Hakusho and DBZ and all that. But I'm beginning to notice I like kind of mature historical stuff too. But anyways, I read a lot. I'll read the newest chapter of Bleach. Go find the Bleach Reddit. Read what everybody thinks about it. Then I'll go find the music for this for the podcast. I'll download each song. I'll upload them, and then I'll go and try to think about paying attention to class. See, there you go. I'll be teaching your children one day, America.
Oh man, what the hell was I going to say? You just said something that totally reminded me of saying something. I was going to say, I forget. That's wonderful radio right there. Start to say something and you forget. So, sorry about that. That's your Thursday. That is your Thursday.
That is my Thursday every week, except for this Thursday, which was like get up, help cook breakfast, wash dishes, help start Thanksgiving, wash dishes, go surf the internet, wash dishes, peel potatoes, wash dishes. Like, it's so many dishes. You know what's funny? I didn't even eat any turkey because the turkey wasn't done before the side, so I ended up getting a giant plate of mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, and stuffing, and then I was full. Shit. But anyways, back to things that people care about. Yeah. Fucking, oh no. I thought it sounded pretty fucking empty in here. What the fuck, Skype? You dropped Jesse. Son of a bitch. So, I'll go ahead and talk about my thoughts on this, and then we'll add Jesse back in when he shows up, because I can't do this alone. I need somebody who's like ready and able and enthusiastic about talking about Scar Symmetry. So Limits to Infinity, it's another song. It's very abstract, but the thing musically that I like is it kind of highlights what this album does really well, is that it almost has a mixture of like elements of three genres, and it's very musically interesting, because like I told him before the show, this album just, I don't want to skip too much to the end here, but the album on its basis form musically is just in terms of instrumentation, it's kind of just basic to a degree. Like, there's not like a whole ton of like crazy shit, but when you put the lyrics to it and the vocals, and it kind of entrances you. It brings you in there, and you want to keep listening because it's very interesting. You know, it's got a lot to offer, just like the lyrics. Like, the song's called "Limits to Infinity." Yeah. Like, I'm sitting here reading the lyrics as I'm talking, and it's crazy. Like, I wish I listened to this twice. Which I might go listen to it after this because it's very, very impressive and well done. And I feel like I could fucking write a fucking novel based off of this album. Yeah, I was talking, and then I'm like, why is there nothing in response? And I looked and like, oh, fucking dropped him.
Skype. Either Skype or Blog Talk. I think it was Skype because it was telling me internet connection on my end. So anyway, I'm back. Yeah, go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was kind of running at the end there. I was just talking about how this song is kind of highlights how this is a very instrumentally it's a little basic, but music-wise it's very interesting and it draws you in, almost just like the lyrics. Like, if you're listening to this in the background, you're not going to think much of it, but if you kind of sit down and think about it, you're going to get your mind blown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything's getting blown.
This particular song was the first single that they had released off the album. Definitely, as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, as soon as the album's released, I'm counting down the days. Because if the rest of the album is going to be anything like this track, and this is a great track off of this album, probably one of the best off of here. When I first started listening to this album, I'd say this remained my favorite track for a little while. But like with all other songs, and most of Scar Symmetry, if some of the songs might kind of slap you in the face, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I like that. There was a term that they used when they released like their second single. They called it a grower, not a shower. So so
you're saying if it got caught naked in the shower, we wouldn't be impressed, but just wait until sexy time.
There you go. This song they definitely said was a shower. And they picked the first, this is a great song to be the first song that everybody hears and gets you ready for the album. Story-wise, like I said, this whole album is pretty much telling a story, and the same theme is in almost every single song. Story-wise, this is particularly talking about how there is an elite group of people who are, we're guessing they are the Neohumans, and they are actually have a plan to leave Earth. They're going to leave Earth, and they're actually going to go to a different planet and colonize another world, leaving the dregs of society, those who are not modified, to remain on Earth and pretty much perish. So this elite group of Neohumans are now getting ready to take off, or at least thinking about leaving, and leave the rest of the unworthy behind. So, but again, there's a word in here that I'm going to have to look up. It's lemniscate. Never heard of it. Well, go ahead and I'll read it here. The verse, if I can find it. Now, of course, I lost it, but
oh yeah, lemniscate. I was wondering what that was as well. Like,
yeah.
It almost feels like a fucking Dr. Seuss. Doesn't it feel like a fucking Dr. Seuss book?
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, the lemniscate's an infinity symbol.
Oh, really? In the restricted lemniscate. Now, see, obviously it's bending your mind. I think you said something like this. Or blowing your mind, where, there are limits to infinity. Whoa, man.
Yeah, like there are limits to infinity, and outside this earthly jet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're just sitting there. You're like, okay, there are limits to infinity and the restricted limit escape. There are bodies infinite outside this earthly dome. So, as to what they mean by limits to infinity, I don't know if they're talking about limits to how we were talking about how they're immortal and they're going to live forever. I don't know, but obviously their plan is to leave Earth, according to this song. But anyway, there you go. So your buddies our advanced buddies are getting ready to leave, or at least looking to leave and leave everybody else here to rot.
Yeah, so it's like, they're like, fuck you guys. I'm going to hide in my spaceship and I'm out of here. This album, I just thought about this. This is the musical equivalent of 2001: Space Odyssey. It's actually Rush's 2112, but this is Interstellar.
There you go. It was funny because you're talking about 2001: Space Odyssey. I've never seen that movie, and it really, after listening to this album, it started weighing on. I really need to go back and actually watch it. I know most of the premise behind it and everything, but I can tell you I've never read it, I know it was a book first and then it became a movie, but I've never read it or watched the movie. I know all about Hal and his good deeds.
Okay, you're still here. Good.
Okay, I'm good. So
yeah, it just kind of went like what we're like Hal and blank.
Skype, good old Skype. All right, so yep, that's Limits to Infinity. Like I said, the shower of the album, and a great. I think it's a great song.
Yeah. I feel like every concept album needs this song, this sort of song that can grab in somebody as a single. Yeah, like like the last Sabaton album, not the last one, Careless Rags. Like a lot of that album, like every song is a fucking single worthy. But like when you look at a lot of concept records that are very abstract in nature, you need one song that's very, well, I mean, not necessarily straightforward, but straightforward enough to the point of where an average listener, Joe Schmo, can listen to it, and if that's his thing, he can go, all right, cool, I want to get into this album, instead of being like, huh? Like, what? Like, how many fucking blunts did they roll? Like, yeah, like, this is like the fucking techno geek version of fucking, like, I Am the Walrus.
Cuckoo Ka-choo.
Yeah, that's right. Cuckoo Ka-choo, flying on my ship to the from the big old blue, right? There you go. Any other things you want to add on this Limits to Infinity before we move on?
No, you had mentioned, the obviously lyrically how deep it is lyrically. One of the things, when you hear this, you immediately think of science fiction, and you think that that's where they get a lot of their inspiration from. That's not the case. They actually, and just like you had mentioned, this guy, which I had no idea, is part of Mensa. They get it from scientific articles that they read. So a lot of the stuff that they pull or are inspired by are actually articles and books that are scientifically based and not science fiction. So it can get out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, next song is track number 4, Cryonic Harvest. That sounds delicious. Maybe. There we go. Yeah, that was definitely a much more death metal oriented song than some of the ones before, which is fine because when I think of Scar Symmetry, I do think of death metal. So I must say they're kind of falling down on their really long lyrics because I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 verses this time.
Well, yeah, that's true. And at the end, okay, this right here is their second single that they released. And when I first heard this, they released a lyric video, which I think they did with the Limits to Infinity also. But they released a lyric video, which, you know, if anybody checks out YouTube nowadays, first lyric video I ever seen was, I think, that a band actually put out was The Sword, when they released their latest album, I think a year or so ago. And so it's cool to be able to read the words in a neat animated fashion on YouTube while listening to the song. This one, however, did not do it for me for some reason. When I heard this second single, Cryonic Harvest, I was like, okay, it sounds pretty cool, but it didn't grab me, obviously, like Limits to Infinity did. There, you know, at the end of this song, I don't know if you remember it, Coop, or not when you listen to it, but this is one of those. They're trying to tell the story, obviously, of what's going on in the song.
This is a weird one.
This is the one where at the end he just like straight up starts, you know, it sounds like he's reading from a book or narrating, and then that's the end of the song. And you're just, it really took me out. And this is close to a 7-minute song. You know, the story that they're trying to get across here, according to from what I remember on the track by track that they were doing, the machines have now, or the Artilects, that is one word that I've never heard before, but they have prominently used. You ever heard that word before?
Artilect.
No.
Okay. It sounds like an artist. Artilect.
Well, it's a combination of artificial and intellect. So they're calling people Artilects at this point in time. But the Artilects are going back and they're harvesting, reanimating all these people who had died and froze their bodies. So they're bringing them back. They're bringing them back and infusing these machines so that they can live forever now. Now, my first lyrically, when I was watching that lyric video, like I said, there was a lot of stuff that really caught my eye. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm a huge fan of time.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of time.
No, I thought this cut off.
Oh, really?
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's my internet lagged, and I was like, all of a sudden I heard nothing. I was like, no. Anyway,
you bastard! Blog Talk, you bastard!
You killed Kenny.
But yeah, it's they say time, affecting the timeline, time wave of man's fate they manipulate. So I was like, oh shit, these guys are going back in time and they're messing with stuff. And I'm like, well, how the hell do these cryonic, freezing these bodies and reanimating fit into it? I think what they're saying is that now, and this is my own interpretation, now that these artificial / humanoids, Artilects, they're now bringing people back from the dead, and they're raising them and infusing them with the technology. Man's timeline is coming to an end. Man won't be around for very much longer. And you get to thinking that this technology that they're infusing with, now that this technology is potentially, or there's a potential that the technology is self-aware, what dictates a man from a machine? There's a point in which you become a machine if you are putting cyborg parts on your body or whatever. who's to say that this, these machines that are bringing these people back up with their back to life are not, like affecting their brain and making them different in some way. Granted, if they present you with the technology, they're going to show you all the benefits, but oh hey, yeah, we're going to bring your grandma back to life too. Aren't you excited about that? And but maybe you never know. There might be something on the underside of this technology. If it's self-aware, maybe it has its own agenda. So I think that's where they get into what they're talking about is how the time wave of man's fate they manipulate. They're getting in there and they're messing with man. And now it's becoming a little unnatural. But that's my take on it.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Bring it.
What is a man but a little miserable pile of secrets? But enough talk. How about you? Sorry,
what is that from?
Symphony of the Night.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I knew I had heard it.
I was like, I got to pull out the Symphony of the Night intro just
Brilliant.
Because we're talking about what is a man. Most sci-fi shows, they always have some episode or some topic or even a whole season of, it's a robot. How much of it's human? Is he human anymore? Is he a cyborg? Like, actually coming back to it, in games I totally need to finish. Chrono Trigger. Like,
you've never finished that?
Dude, I got a bit into it, and then I got the new Castlevania game, and I just kind of went off from there.
Oh.
Yeah, like, Robo, like, he's more human than, like, a lot of characters in a lot of shows, but he's a robot.
Oh, man.
But I know, and I've bought even more JRPGs. I just bought Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 for GBA.
There are very few games that I've had a chance to play. I'm not a big gamer, but I've played my fair share, especially when I was in college, which, by the way, Chrono Trigger was a game that I played when I was in college. That was a long time ago, right? Yeah, it was a few years back, but it wasn't. I think it was. The PS1 was out, so we'll just put it that way. So it's not like I had a Super Nintendo and that was the most newfangled thing. The PS1 was out at that time, but somebody hooked me up with Chrono Trigger, and of course, like I said, fan of time travel. I'm like, okay, this is a game about time travel. I'm going to play. But very, very few games that I've had a chance to play in my lifetime that have affected me emotionally to where I'm like so invested in the story. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII. Those two probably are the top two of the most, where I'm like so invested in the story. I remember buying Final Fantasy III, loved the game, or I guess I don't know what the Japanese numbering was. Thank you. But I bought 3/6 for the Super Nintendo. Loved that game, but nowhere near as invested into it as I was Final Fantasy VII for the PS1. But Chrono Trigger, oh my gosh, dude! Please play that if you get a chance. That is a great game.
Yeah, I need to get into it because I got really invested, but then I got the Castlevania game, and Castlevania takes all precedence in my mind. And then after that, I got the new Devil May Cry or the Devil May Cry HD collection. So I went on to that, and then I started playing Symphony of the Night again, and then I started, the things it just spirals out of control. So I've been really wanting to play Final Fantasy VI because I have 7 on Steam, and I've restarted Final Fantasy VII like 5 times. Mm-hmm. Every time I'm like, there's a certain point where I'm like, yeah, this game's really good, and I'm going to really love it. And then I'm just kind of like, whatever. Because I want to play 6, because 6, Kefka's so awesome.
I have an assignment for you, because I saw your post about the guy with Cloud on his desk. Now, are you going to see that kid again?
Was that kid? I don't think I'll actually. I might see the kid again, so I'm going back one day, but I probably won't be in that classroom.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, if you had a chance, I wanted you to ask him if he is where he got it from, because I'm curious as to whether he goes, yeah, I got it from Final Fantasy VII, or he says, I got it from Kingdom Hearts. Because immediately when I saw that, I was like, he probably played Kingdom Hearts, and I bet you he has no freaking clue. Well, of course, I've never played the Kingdom Hearts game. I just know he's in it. But he probably has no idea about Final Fantasy VII and the joys that he is missing out on.
I don't know, because he it said Final
Fantasy gamer?
VII on his paper. I don't know.
Oh well, if it said Final Fantasy VII on the paper, then I definitely. I'm incorrect.
I mean, I was in that classroom for like an hour and a half, and I didn't really talk to many of the kids, even though there was a kid named Bobby, and I felt so bad for him because every time I talked to him, I'm like, "Hey, Bobby." Every single time I do Hank Hill. There's a guy at work named Bobby, and every time I'm saying like, "Dang it, Bobby!" I'm
Bobby.
like, "Hey, Bobby, how you doing? How's the clown college?" Because I don't know if you remember, there was an episode where he went to clown college because he wanted to be a rodeo clown.
Oh my goodness, no! I can tell you, I'm probably handful of episodes. That's awesome, though. Hey, Bobby, because I can hear it right now.
Yeah, I've seen so many episodes of King of the Hill. Love that show. Anyways, yeah. So this song totally reminds me of like cryogenic. No. Oh no, this song reminds me of Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I had to make. At first, I was like, this really reminds me of like Alien or something. No, it ain't about suspended animation. It's about Walt Disney being a frozen Nazi or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That part at the end. I guess that part at the end just kind of serves to shepherd the story onward. It was weird, though. I was like,
it is. He just comes in straight in, and it sounds like he's just reading. That's Per. I'm pretty sure that's Per, by the way, who's reading. But just like you said, I mean, we're talking 7 minutes. Maybe he just felt like, okay, this has got to be said, and really all it is just him describing how they're bringing them back to life, the sentient nanobots to perform reconstruction. So it's just about them, the process of them bringing them back to life. So I really don't know if it needed to go there, but Per apparently insisted that or thought that it needed to. So, but yeah, one of the weaker songs I think on the album, maybe possibly the weakest. And I'm talking songs with lyrics because we'll get to the interlude, I guess, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and get to the next song because we keep rambling because me and you together, and we're together.
It gets bad. That's all right. It gets bad. We take care of business though.
We spent like an hour between two shows talking about the library and ponchos. So, before this gets even more out of hand, here is track number 5, the Spiral Time Shift.
Counting all, wandering
do. That's a pretty cool song. I like that song. What do you think of that song?
Oh, it's definitely a good one. I'll go ahead and get into the story part of things. This song, I think, is more told from the point of view of those who kind of oppose the fact that technology is kind of overtaking humans. What they are, what Scar Symmetry has said, or I wish I could pronounce his name right, because I've heard him say his name like 3 or 4 times, and it definitely does not sound like Per. It sounds like Per, but of course that's the Swedish in him, I'm sure. But anyway, oh, by the way, again, lyrically, these guys are, I believe, from Sweden, so English is their second language. and then they write shit like this that has a guy who speaks English as a primary language going, what the hell? So anyway, kudos to them. But anyway, this is being told from the point of view of people who kind of oppose the integrating this technology into humans. But Paris said that this album is pretty much about the conflict between those who oppose it and those who are for it. So they're talking about how, I think in the first, one of the lyrics we heard, they says, at first we criticize and then we idolize invasive technology, drawn like moths to flame. So a lot of people are feeling that this is going to be humanity's undoing. By bringing these machines in, and there's mention of the soul later in the song. Now, as to why they call it the spiral time shift, I'm so fucking down with that title I can't even tell you, but I have no idea how it applies to the song. I'm sure that I didn't even get a chance to. I mean, they didn't even go into the commentary as to why they talked about it. They just kind of said, okay, here's what part of the story is. Makes you kind of wonder if they're just not like, man, what would be a good song title? And they just pick, 3 or 4 words and they smash them together and they're like, it has nothing to do with the song. But there is mention of the spiral in the song, but I think the song is mostly about how people are starting to believe that humanity is falling by accepting these machines. Musically, it's heavy. It's heavy and it's fast. I'm not a huge. Do me a favor here, Coop, because I rely upon you and Mark to help me figure out musical genres and understand them a little bit better. Now, you've mentioned the term death metal. That's in their description on Wikipedia, I think. What determines a band to be death metal?
Oh, well, it's actually usually pretty easy. They got the death growl. That's usually number 1.
Okay.
Death growl. They're kind of, the tuning's a lot heavier. Yeah, that's kind of where I just look at it. The drumming's a bit more furious, oftentimes. So sometimes it's harder for me to explain what things are, but yeah, that's the way I look at death metal as the heavy version of heavy metal. Like, if you took heavy metal, made it heavier, faster, darker, more aggressive. Like, you get the death growls and shit, yeah.
Okay, well, they definitely got, right off the bat, you got the death growl. I mean, I think that's one of the first things you hear on this song. But anyway, I kind of wanted to bring this up. I mentioned Holographic Universe, which is one of their best albums. You've heard the death growl and you've heard the clean singing on here. That was actually back on Holographic Universe was done by one guy. I think a couple albums, maybe their first 3, was done by one guy, a guy by the name of Christian Alvestam. And I mean, talented as all hell, because when you first hear it, you're thinking, well, that's definitely 2 dudes. No, it's one dude that does the clean singing and he'd do the death growl at the same time. Now, I'm sure, I know there's plenty of people out there that can do that, but he tricked me. So I'll give him points for that when I first heard him. But he left. So when he left after Holographic Universe, they had to find two guys to take over. And we got Robert Carlson, who's the harsh vocals here, and Lars Palmqvist, who is the clean vocals. I gotta give Lars a mention because he was my 200th follower on Twitter. He's the man. As to why he followed me, I have no freaking clue because I sure as hell didn't ask for it. But maybe because I post a shit ton about Scar Symmetry, and as to whether he's the real Lars Palmqvist, I have no idea. But anyway, so okay, you've helped me out. You've helped me understand death metal. When in this particular song and what you've heard of it. Is this more death metal or is this more prog metal to you?
I feel like this song's almost like a medium. Like this whole album's really a medium between with progressive metal and death metal with power metal elements in it. Like a lot of the choruses are very power metal-y in nature because they have a lot of just kind of more like sustained chords and like kind of like the more anthemic soaring sort of like feel to them, you know, like you would have an Iron Maiden album.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they've got a lot of those elements to them. This album's like it's just a medium between those because it's really not like greatly that much of a death metal album. Like it's kind of sitting around the melodic death metal, like At the Gates or well, I always think of At the Gates. Maybe a little bit of Carcass. Yeah, but this is the progressive metal really mellows the death metal down in this album. So, like I said, it's about somewhere medium between it. Like death metal, I think it's my favorite genre because you can do so much with it and still retain the death metal qualities.
Mhm.
Kind of like, yeah, like it's so good. Like you can have death thrash and you can still tell it's both death metal and thrash metal, or blackened death metal, or even as much as I absolutely despise it, even deathcore. I hate deathcore with passion.
Anything.
Their fans suck. They're a bunch of fucking douchebags. God. And I don't know why when we did covers, Mark was like, yeah, core bands. and then I had to explain to the both of you that was a band.
Oh, dude, I'll never forget that night. I'm still confused, but
that was the best. Are you kidding me? That's a guy. I'm like, yeah, no way, that's a girl. No.
We went back and forth on that shit for like 20 minutes, man. I'm still, like I said, I'd probably still be talking about it right now if I could.
We argued about that for 20 minutes. I'm like, guys, I know what like fucking feminine male voice sounds like in a core band. I've been around this for a while. Trust me. I'm a doctor.
You do know your shit. I will definitely give you props. You know your shit.
Thank you. I actually did a presentation in that shitty class I have Thursday on it was presenting like if I'd create my own like class or it was like I had to just make a lesson and use a multimedia presentation with it. So I did like Heavy Metal 101.
Oh boy, how was that received?
Class. It was well received. I am in a class full of black ladies, so that's like the opposite of metal. Like it is because like it's a very
if you did a
white
good job
male
explaining
dominated.
it, that's all that matters, man. Because that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's a very white male dominated genre of music. But like one of the girls was like, you made me want to listen to it. The one girl was arguing with me that ICP is metal. I'm like, they're hip hop, and they're like, what? I'm like, well, I don't want to say rap, but they're a rap group.
Yeah,
like
they have. Yeah, that's mostly rap.
They're
granted, there is a little bit of guitar. You can hear a little bit of guitar in some of their stuff, but I mean, it's definitely.
It's not even heavy enough to be metal. It's just like
you
rock.
can't. You can't.
But they were arguing.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it was funny because I'm like, okay, like here's the real people with the face paint. I was showing him Immortal. I'm like, yeah, guys, just letting you know. I was like, yeah, see, the first guy who did this, the reason he did it is because it looked scary and he wanted to look like a corpse because he was sick in the head. So, yeah. He was. He had the best suicide note ever. Sorry for firing the gun in the house. Sorry for the blood. Cheers.
Wow.
Yeah, Dead was fucked up. If you want to know more about Dead, go listen to the Mayhem podcast I did with a guy named Jesse. It's pretty good.
I listened. I do remember that. I remember you guys talking about it. It was good podcast, people. Go check it out for sure.
Yeah, it was. I was like, yeah, there you go. But yeah, this song here, I liked it. I've not really analyzed the lyrics any, but you're right. Just looking at them here, I'm like, what are we spiraling into here? Mm-hmm. But I do like the one line here. I chose transformation to mutate, recreate my being. You know, when you look at that idea, it's almost like they're choosing to be their own god of sorts.
True.
Oh, well, there you go. Look at that. I will become the divine. That's in that song. Damn. I managed to fucking stumble upon the idea of the song by using my own analysis and context clues. What's up, English? What's up, English class?
Context clues. You know when the fuck last time I heard that freaking those two words together? Holy cow.
Yeah, I use context clues. That's right.
He's tearing it up.
Right, yeah. I'm tearing this shit up. I'm giving you all sorts of terms that you forgot about from elementary school. Yeah. Speaking of things about elementary school, move on to the next song before, cat, don't you fucking step on this computer. I'm threatening my cat. Okay, so here's the instrumental of the album. This is track number 6, Children of the Integrated Circuit. Well, that didn't necessarily give a whole ton of instrumental, but that was the instrumental. What did you think of the instrumental?
Oh, you know, it wasn't much. You know, it's Per, their guy taking some time to, you know, what they had said is this is a place to kind of break things up a little bit. If we've been furiously talking about these machines and people who are you know, against the machines and for the machines and the elite and all this, and now it's time to take a break because we're about to get in to our conclusion. We've got 2 songs left. It's an instrumental. It's nice. It's slow. It's not extremely heavy for sure. It just feels kind of floaty, you know, and it's kind of there to relax. And it's definitely a lot slower pace compared to some of the other stuff. And I do love the fact that even though it's an instrumental, we're not telling part of a story here. The title is definitely in line with the story that we've been hearing. So I'll, you know, if anything, I thought that was pretty damn cool. So that's pretty much all I have on it.
Yeah. I mean, of course they would pick something that was like relevant to the story. That'd be funny if they were just like, yeah, we're gonna name this the Aaron growing the hair of an elephant's asshole or something.
Shiny happy unicorns.
Yeah, or you could do what Halloween did in the 90s and name your album shit like Pink Bubblegums Go Ape. Those albums apparently weren't awful, but those names are so fucking stupid I would never admit to owning it.
Yeah. Well, then we can give these guys credit for at least keeping it in line with the story, because boy, if they would have done something like that, I would have been like, what the hell are you guys thinking? So I'm all right with it.
Yeah. I mean, I like this instrumental. It was pretty good. It wasn't anything like too amazing, but it was a nice bridge. It was a nice breather before we hit like the ending of the first part of this trilogy. You know, the New Hope of sorts. Yeah.
That's right.
Phantom Menace.
Star Wars.
Or the Phantom
Star Wars
Menace
analogy. Or what?
Or the Phantom Menace of Swords.
Ooh.
Other Star Wars.
Yeah, that's an insult.
I totally bought that movie for $1, like $2 the other day, just because I'm like, shit. At least I can, like, I'm almost complete with the collection.
DVD
now
or
I
Blu-ray?
need the one that actually. Oh, just DVD.
Well, I was gonna say if you pick it up for $1 on Blu-ray for sure, definitely that'd be sweet as shit.
Yeah, I got $2 for like the 2-disc DVD at a Goodwill. I haven't even tried to play it. I mean,
although you think about how bad the movie actually is, and you want to actually watch it in high definition, I don't know if that says much for somebody that wants to do that or not.
I don't care about high definition. I'm just interested in commentaries and special features.
Oh, no kidding. I watched Gremlins a couple days ago, and I was so excited when I saw there's 2 commentary tracks on the disc that my buddy hooked me up with. There's a cast and a the cast and crew commentary, and then there's the production commentary. So I'm actually. Oh, me too. You know, I was when DVDs first started coming out, Robert Cooper, back in the early 2000s. My buddies, actually, I'm sorry, this was probably back in, it was about 2000, because my buddy had, a DVD player, and I was hanging out with him at college. We watched The Shining. I'd never seen it up until 2000. And then we watched The Shining, and I think it had a commentary track on it. That really excited me, because I was like, oh, man, you can listen to these guys talk about it. I found it very interesting. So interesting, in fact. Have you ever seen the movie Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Which one?
It's called Virus. It's like about a computer virus. It's a sci-fi movie about them up on a space station. Horrible, horrible movie, dude. Just completely horrible. But I watched that movie and I watched the commentary.
Yeah, like I almost want to watch the Batman and Robin or listen to the Batman and Robin commentary, because I've heard the entire thing is Joel Schumacher shitting on the movie and apologizing for ever making it. Like, that's like the best thing. Like,
one
all
of my
the
favorites.
interviews are like the cast and crew being like, "Oh God, this shitty movie. Why?"
Oh, the bat nipples have got to be brought up at some point.
Oh God. Yeah. Like, actually, the movie with the most commentaries that I've ever seen is Dodgeball.
Really?
It's got 3 commentaries. I think it's got 2 commentaries, and there's one that's hidden. If, like, every time Dwight Goodman snaps in the movie, if you press OK on your remote, it'll go to, like, a special feature.
Ah, Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's a secret commentary with the director, or with the writer and director, so it's pretty cool. So, yeah, okay, I just looked at the clock. We got 30 minutes, so let's get this shit done. I knew I should have put it on 90 minutes, but I'm like, it won't take us this long. I forgot. It's me and Jesse. It's not me and Mark. Because me and Mark, like, towards the end, he's like, all right, let's just speed this along.
You could tell he's ready to rock and roll and get out of there at some point. He's just like, okay, all right, next track. That last,
he's like, yeah.
He's ready. I could tell he was done with fucking shit knot. So.
Oh shit! Cannibal Corpse. Shit, you're already halfway through the fucking album, and I'm 20 minutes late. What the fuck? I was like, damn. All right, so yeah. Next song, number 7, is called Neuromancer. Stop being a piece of shit, Internet.
What's it doing to you?
God. That thing was so fucking choppy.
Oh, I heard it did. It sounded good on my end. It sounded good.
Oh, really? Mine was just like... Yeah, this is definitely a death metal song. As you could hear, it was very really growly and had more of the heavier tone in the guitars. And had some sweet fucking blast beats. Yeah. So actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about this song first.
Please do. Go for it, man.
So, yeah. I don't know what this class to do with Neuromancy. Well, I kind of do, because if you look at Necromancy, it's like magic to bring the dead. This is like magic brain or some shit. But if you read the lyrics, it's talking about, the thing that's said like a gajillion times in the song, eyes are the mirror of souls, made in the shape of a flawed design. I will improve the divine, sing to a different tone. Like, this is a song about kind of like, I think the theme of this album actually is about, kind of this new person, this neo-sapien of sorts, is like going to become a god and is rebuilding people in an image that he sees fit, very much like how people see, humans as a reflection of the face of God. He's going to be rebuilding people in his own vision and going to replace and improve upon the defects that he sees in humanity. This is the song where he's just talking about, changing the world and rebuilding people and improving upon stuff and making AI, and, seeing that the eyes are the mirror of the soul. Well, now he's going to improve the eye and make it different. Yeah, what do you think?
I love it, man. That's exactly where they're going here. This song is my favorite song off of this album, specifically for the fact of how fast it is. The lyrics are awesome. Story-wise, what we're getting here, just like you had mentioned, and they say it here, dawn of the singularity. So we have right now in this song, machines are self-aware, and this song is about them changing. And it may not be up front. It may not be the computers or AI coming to you and saying, "Hey, I'm self-aware. What can I do to help you?" Instead, they might be subvertly going in there and, "Oh yeah, you've just got yourself updated or with your new cyberpunk arm or whatever, but and your implants in your head, but they are now controlling things on their end." And I think in this particular song is them showing that the AI is alive and they're changing they're changing humans not by our whim but their own. Just like you said, eyes are the mirror of souls. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this whole song is eyes are the mirrors of souls, made in a shape of a flawed design. I will improve the divine and sing to a different tone. My favorite part of this whole song is those two lines. It's showing them realizing that humans are not perfect. And again, I'll use my analogy of the Borg. Resistance is futile. We will make you better, and that's definitely what I take out of this. But like I said, my favorite track. Let me see if I got any other notes on this. There's mention in here about how these AI, or actually the people that are those who are controlling the AI, have no, and this is straight off of the commentary thing that I saw. They have no concern about the soul, no concern about religion. They're just like, boom, here's technology, and we're going to upgrade you. So the people that are controlling the technology are, I wouldn't say corrupt, but they just, they have no concept of the human soul, or if they do, they don't care about it. And of course, the AI is coming alive. One of the theories is that they've programmed this AI to kind of do something crazy, and that's what we're going to find out in the next song.
Yep, and that's like the perfect fucking segue. I like it. So here's the last song. Let me make sure I can pronounce this right. Techno-calyptic Cyberget. Huh? Did I get it? I win?
You're the man. You are the man.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I knew this college degree would help something. Yeah, that's the last song of the album. We're running out of time.
Oh, man.
So what do you think about this song, the finale?
The finale, and not just the finale, I mean the 10-minute, 13-second finale. There is so much crap going on in this song. This is definitely one of those songs where I said it felt like more of two songs that were kind of put together to tell the ending, tell that final chapter of this, of phase one. I mean, first off, what we see in this song, story-wise, is that I mentioned about how they kind of reprogrammed or was putting some things in the technology that might that might hinder us there later. And what is also going on at this time is, remember how I had mentioned there are people who are against the technological modification, and those who are absolutely for it 100%. They mention in this song neo-dystopia. So people of Earth are, I wouldn't say at war, but they are, there's definitely unrest and a conflict that is either brewing or has already kind of started between those who are for it and those who oppose it. Now, what's happened here is that, I think in the second set of verses here, they're talking about a line of signs first ignored, strike from the periphery. Now, my analyzation of that particular lyric is that this is actually about the machines attacking or taking over and attacking humankind. And they're attacking in the midst of this great conflict. The machines show up and start to try and wipe everybody out, and nobody's looking. It's the peripheral vision. That's the first thing I'm thinking of. It says, charge forth from the periphery, rise up from the ashes of their dreams, charge forth out of obscurity, rise now from synthetic wounds and artificial birth. So these machines are coming up, and we're getting war is going to happen, or war is happening. Hence the title, Technocalyptic Cybergeddon. Shit's going down on Earth. And like I mentioned to you, very big Terminator feel to me. That's one of the things I'm thinking of. But again, it's a long song. It feels like two songs that are kind of mashed together to tell the story. It's the AI coming to life, and it's time to wipe out humanity. So that's my take on it.
Oh yeah, I can definitely dig that. Like looking through these, yeah, like the thing that was repeated towards the end about counting days and your demise will be as tears and rain lost to the void, which I love that line because that image really it just proves like you're crying into the rain. Nobody will know, nobody will see it, nobody will care.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're talking about mind potential or hiding behind new eyes. Remember those eyes that got rebuilt in the last song? Yup, they're back. I might just go re-listen to this whole album, fucking liner note it myself.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, what do you? Let me ask you real quick. What do you think of the keyboards? Is that something that's prominent? That's not prominent in death metal. That's usually something
that's not a death metal thing.
Okay.
It's usually a progressive metal thing.
That is something that Scar Symmetry is very known for. I mean, the keyboards. And I think, honestly, that's something that grabs me about these guys and really makes me I gravitate to them. I like that sound. And they, you could hear some songs are very, very prominent with the keyboards. I think this one started out with the synthesizer of the keyboards. That's something that I enjoy of this band anyway. But man, what else you got to say about it? Anything else you got to say on this song?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty good though. Back to keyboards, they're more of like a power metal, prog metal thing. You don't find them in the heavier genres unless you're looking for a band that has a lot of atmosphere, and keyboards do bring a lot of that. But I mean, a lot of melodic death metal bands use keyboards too. So keyboards are just a thing. It's nice. I like it. But yeah, this song it's really well done. This whole album, I feel like we need to tell L. Ron Hubbard to fuck off, and let's make a new religion based off this
album. Rise of the Machines. I mean, I was very worried. I'll go ahead and jump into my closing pieces on the album here. I was very worried that when they said concept, we were going to get something extremely different from what I've heard before. And when I begged you guys to please cover it or let me get on here and cover it with you, I was really, really scared it was going to be horrible. I thought, oh man, we're going to have another Black Sabbath on our hands or something that's going to sound like utter crap and we're just going to tear it. No, wait a second, another Super Collider. But as far as concept albums go, this is definitely not Risk from Megadeth. This is something that's, very. It feels definitely like Scar Symmetry. I think the main the big concept here is the fact that we're doing a trilogy and we're hitting the first part of a story. And I have my theories on what the second album's going to be. I honestly, they haven't said, as far as I know. But I mean, where else can you go but to utter fucking war with the machines, or trying to get the hell out? That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing that I can think is going to be the next logical step. Is the next album being nothing but about the war against the machines, and then of course the third album, my guess is that it's going to be about either the victory or the defeat. Either we're going to get our asses handed to us, or we're going to have a victory over the machines. That's my theory as to whether it pays off or not. That's the only logical steps I could see in the story that they have. One other thing I kind of wanted to mention that I picked up off of there was the fact that when they first were coming together about this album, I found this really interesting. They were actually planning on doing 3 EPs. I think that was Pear's initial thing was like, hey, let's do 3 EPs, and they'll just be 25-minute albums apiece. But when Henrik wrote the synopsis, they were like, okay, this is definitely going to be a lot longer than that. So they just went 3 full albums to cover the story. But as for an album, a Scar Symmetry album, I mean, a lot of people gripe about the last album that they had. I can tell you that, again, these guys were my gateway drug to, I guess, Swedish metal, or at least foreign metal. I branched out from these guys. I got into Soilwork. Spiritual Beggars was one that, I mean, obviously that's not heavy metal, too heavy metal, I guess you should say. That's more doom. But these guys led me into so much more and broadened my horizons because I enjoyed their music so much. I wanted to hear more, and I thought maybe that there were more from where they were from that it could lead me to, and it did. It took me there. But as for an album, this particular album to me kicks some serious ass. Like I said, I love the story. I love the sound. There's not a single song on this album that makes me go, I'm not a fan of that one, because it all sounds good to me. And there are plenty of bands out there, and I'll be honest with you. I love Clutch, but there are a couple songs where I'm just like, okay, I can skip that song. Scar Symmetry rarely has any of those, if none at all, for me. Now, for other people, that might be a different story. But this album, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10 if we're going to do on a 10 scale. And I'm absolutely biased, so because I love these guys so much. But that's my take on it, man.
Well, okay, I got you. So let's see. As for me, keep getting into the Swedish bands. Totally. Like, do you want more death metal? Start with At the Gates. Go from there. Hell, At the Gates had a new album come out this year, so there you go. I need to listen to that album. I'm a horrible person. Yeah, a lot of those melodic death metal bands. Like, I haven't listened to very much metal at all this year. Too much work. Too much school. I'm a busy beaver. Busy beaver. Yeah, I'm sure we know a few girls who had busy beavers in high school. Hey, yo.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get it. But yeah, totally, just looking at a lot of the Swedish bands. Hell, old Opeth is really good if you like progressive and death metal stuff. Actually, their last album their album this year was really good. So it was like a tribute to 70s prog rock. They're pretty much done making death metal. Bastards. But yeah, this album here, it was very impressive. It makes me want to go look into more of their stuff. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. Like, if I ever run across some more of their stuff pretty cheap, I might buy it. Because I was impressed with this album. The concepts here are really great. It's a very lush world that they've built in these 8 songs. And I'm interested in seeing where it goes. I think we're going to have a war. I think we're going to have Terminator Rise of the Machines.
Yeah.
With less Christian Bale freaking out on set.
Oh, yeah, man, don't get me started on that shit. I hated Christian. After I heard about that, I hated Christian Bale. It almost made me not want to go see the movie, even though I did. That whole particular incident, I've never forgiven Christian Bale. Batman, whatever the fuck. Christian Bale's a dick after I heard that.
I just thought it was really funny, personally. I like Christian Bale as an actor. Like, I was like, that's pretty fucking funny right there. I like it.
You could tell I was personally upset. I was personally upset about it. Damn it.
It happened. So, yeah, I like the album. 8 out of 10. Maybe 8.5. We'll see. So, yeah, plugs. What you got?
Plugs. Hey, first off, I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming on here, and like you said, throwing me a bone and giving me the opportunity to discuss this album with you. You and Mark, I've always you know, I'm always listening when I get the chance. So it's either live or it's later in the week. I'm trying to get it the chance to listen to it. So again, thank you guys very much for letting me come on here and talk one of my favorite metal bands of all time. Plug wise, we've got. You know, I did source material over this past Monday, and we did it. Me and